do a countdown here. In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this is Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. What really sets this apart from the other classic Castlevanias is the ability to both pick branching stage paths through the game and also pick a spirit helper character that you can freely swap between. But for this run, Chelny is actually not going to be getting a spirit helper and just playing through the whole game as Trevor Belmont, which kind of makes it play a lot more like Castlevania 1 as far as the movement and then the kinds of battle strats you use.
Yeah, to be honest, Trevor's really been upset that GDQ hasn't had a run that's just portrayed him, so we're going to try to help him out here and make him feel better.
Yeah, so for stage 1, he picks up the Holy Water sub-weapon in his first opportunity, which is once you get a shot multiplier, which you get your first after hitting 10 either enemies or candles with the Holy Water, then the next small heart drop becomes a double shot instead, and then after another 10 hits he gets a triple shot, and then triple shot Holy Water in most cases is the fastest way to quick kill bosses in this game. So
yeah,
for stage 1 he's getting basically his goal before he gets to the boss is to get a triple shot Holy Water.
Yeah, Holy Water, just like Castlevania 1, is really good at stunning enemies, so keeping them locked in a single spot can be incredibly useful, making them a lot more manageable than they could have been.
Yeah, so he just got his double shot there. These zombies have a little randomness to their spawn patterns, but he can, if they go in front of him, he can use them to get hits towards his triple shot.
The ideal scenario is that not many spawn, because every time you jump in this game, you actually lose a little bit of time. You slow down, so you want to try to minimize your jumps if you can. Obviously, it's not avoidable in certain cases, but
yeah, that was an intentional damage boost he did to clip through that bone pillar, too. You'll be seeing him do a lot of those over the course of this run, too, just because which direction Trevor gets boosted is based on like whether he hits the left or right side of the enemy. So if he hits, in this case, the right side, he gets boosted forward while invincible and can skip stuff. Say hi to Bone Knight. Say bye to Bone Knight.
See if we can do something that I'm not good at.
Let's go for it. Oh!
It's all right. We got the fist pump, the ion fist pump there.
No campfire for you this time.
Nah, it's something I don't really do much of, because usually I'm always worried about splitting on orb grab, and I always forget to do it, so it's all right. Maybe we'll try again later.
So like I mentioned earlier, you can pick branching stages in this game. If you were doing a Grant run, you would take the upper branch that goes to the Clock Tower, Block 2, but there is no reason to go there other than to get Grant and enjoy the music. So he's going to the Forest stage, Block 3 instead.
Yeah, it's a really fair point. The soundtrack in this game is really good. Something I didn't mention, and I've done it a couple times already, when you jump from 3 tiles or higher, you'll get into a stunned animation when you land. But if you time a whip attack as you are just about to sort of land, you can time it so that your whip animation ends the moment you hit the ground, and that will actually cancel the stun animation. So you see me a lot of times, I might be jumping up in hopes of doing that.
Yeah, these owls are awful too. You can manipulate their swoops a little bit.
That's all right.
By kind of jumping up near them as they spawn, but once they kind of break away, then they're basically random. So he just traded in his Holy Water for a cross boomerang, which he's going to be using for the next few stages.
These owls are not friendly.
Yeah, the owls are part of it, but also two specific bosses he's going to be fighting relatively soon are much easier to hit with the cross than with the Holy Water. So since he switched sub-weapons, he lost his triple shot and needs to build that up again before he gets to the Cyclops, which is the boss of the stage.
Yeah. It's actually worth noting that a lot of the strats I have in this game are pretty old. I actually learned this game, there's not very many runs, actually, of this game. And so a lot of the runs I found were from like 2 years ago, so these strats might be a little out of date, but they're still really fun.
Yeah. His health is looking a little scary at this point, but he can actually take another hit before he dies, no matter what, because like he mentioned at the start, he's playing on the American version, and There's a lot of version differences between the American and Japanese versions, but one really big one is based on how much damage you take when you get hit. Like in this stage, everything that hits him does 2 damage.
And it's okay, because we found some wall meat, and everyone knows how tasty that stuff is. So we're safe now.
Yeah, so the lower path would be for an Alucard run, but for every other category, you go straight here to finish the forest. Oh yeah, we haven't really talked about sub-weapon drops, too. Enemies can randomly drop certain sub-weapons, and that's really bad if he accidentally gets a sub-weapon that he doesn't want, because he would lose his previous one along with his shot multiplier, and that's pretty much as bad as death in several cases. And when the drops happen is random, although it's kind of controlled randomness. Like in runs, he can typically kind of know when to expect a drop is coming relatively soon. He can start, especially in a marathon setting like this, kind of hesitating a little bit when he kills enemies to make sure that if they drop something that he won't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still random, but you can definitely start to get a feel for when one's coming. Normally I'd be having one come up right away, but since I died on the owl room, it's going to be a little offset.
And we have even more wall meat right before the Cyclops, too, so this is going to be pretty safe.
I'm dumping some of my crosses right now because you want to always end boss fights with 0 hearts if you can.
Yeah, just so that the score countdown is as short as possible.
Nice Cyclops fight.
Yeah, that was a good
Thanks.
fight.
All right, the most important part of the run, I'm going to need some serious time for
Yes.
this.
The menu boss is approaching.
We have to make sure we turn down the waifu of the game. All right, we did it.
This is so painful for me to watch. As someone who loves using Sypha in these runs.
Yeah.
See ya, Sypha.
Oh,
Good luck.
that rejection.
Good luck on your journey of whatever you do. All right.
All right, so this is one of the longest stages in the whole game across all of the branches, actually, just because it even has a mini boss along with and then the final boss is actually 2 different fights too. And starting here, the amount of damage he takes goes up to 3 per hit.
And speaking of bosses, this is really the first stage, in my opinion, where the stairs boss really comes into play. It is a 2D Castlevania game. Stairs are a huge issue, and they start off in this level.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of glossed over it in stage 1, where you did it a couple times, but in general he wants to avoid climbing stairs anytime he can because it's slow, much slower than either jumping or damage boosting or falling. He has those at his disposal.
I have to make sure I do a slight hesitation here so I get boosted to the right from that ghost. Really important, obviously. That's a distance that you can't actually make with a normal jump, so the D-boost is actually required if you're not going to take the stairs. Unless you're playing Grant, I think.
Yeah, Grant really breaks this stage. In this room right here, Grant can skip that entire room through a clip.
Yeah. Grant also lets you control your movement while jumping too, which really changes the platforming dynamics, but we're here for Trevor, so.
All Trevor.
Speaking of Trevor here, some of these platforms here, they can be really, really, really tight jumps. We're going to see this a little later in the Castle Courtyard stage, but Trevor's jumping is not that good in this game.
Yeah, and since Trevor doesn't have any movement-related abilities other than damage boosting, with one really big exception, he more or less has to take the intended route through every screen.
Yeah. I definitely have not had a drop in a while, so I know.
Yeah, the next screen
the next
after
screen
this
could be a
should
little
have
dangerous.
one, yeah.
We're gonna have to play it a little bit carefully.
All right, say hi to Medusa, and say bye to Medusa.
Yeah, Cross is really good at stunning her because you can utilize them in the corner there.
Because she spawns on the right side of the screen, and then the cross just comes back when it hits the edge of the screen, so you're just getting a lot of hits really fast.
All right, buddy. This guy can do it sometimes. All right.
Okay. So yeah, like we said earlier, he's kind of hesitating a little bit now just to keep an eye out for sub-weapon drops.
So Chelney grabbed that health refill there because there's actually going to be a damage boost coming up in the next section. He's going to skip an entire room. You can still do that as Trevor. Again, damage boosting off the ghost.
Yeah, it's not really necessary, but depending on if I do get a sub-weapon, the whip kill for the boss is a lot less free. So I require some health for some boosts if I do that. All right, birds.
These are probably some of the least dangerous birds in the run too, just because of how much.
Don't do it.
Ooh, I say that as that happens, but
Get back here.
as far as getting knocked into a pit, at least I'd say those are kind of.
So yeah,
threatening
that's
birds.
unfortunate. So now we're not going to do the boost because I've taken way too much damage already.
Yeah, ordinarily he would use that ghost in order to boost across to the other stairs.
Definitely a good thing that I grabbed the health.
All right, so the boss of the ghost ship is actually 2 fights. First is a set of mummies, followed by another Cyclops. His goal with the mummies is to kill the right one last because the spirit flame spawns out of it, and then it has a flying pattern before it goes into the other coffin that he wants to minimize.
We got the good pattern
Nice.
too. He can come out of the coffin and charge at you as well, and it's a little scarier, but the fight is pretty simple.
And then when he kills the Cyclops, he ideally wants that to be as close to the middle of the screen as possible too, because just like in a lot of classic Mega Man games, the stage doesn't end until all of the bits of the exploding ghost are off screen.
Yeah, the orb won't appear until after they leave.
So this first room in the next level, Cursed Castle, all damage boost. I really like the way this room plays out.
Oh, all right. I guess we're killing this guy.
Yeah, these bone pillars just have a lot of health for normal enemies, so kind of the goal in routing is to skip fighting them as much as possible.
Yeah, I tried to do a back boost on that bullet, but it's pretty tight, so...
Fortunately, these flying gargoyles they spawn basically at your horizontal position, and they also have a very predictable swooping pattern.
Extra cross for luck.
Yeah, this game has a slight obsession with gargoyles and stairs. We're going to see this later on in Stage 9. It's a nightmare.
With some bone pillars thrown in too.
Ah.
Okay, so depending on which cross throw or axe throw he gets from that knight there, you can potentially deboost to the right and skip going up and around.
You can manipulate the high axe again, but it's kind of precise, and I never really got good at it.
Yeah, so now that he's done fighting Cyclopses, which are, well, I guess he's not actually done, but mostly done fighting Cyclopses, there's actually another later on. He's switching back to Holy Water just because that's...
There it is.
There's the drop.
There's the drop.
I was waiting for that for so long. I was getting nervous.
'Cause that's going to let him kill the boss at this stage a lot faster than the cross could. So during this auto-scroller section here, he's just trying to kill all the knights to get his triple shot.
Yeah, so there's a few auto-scrollers like this. There's not much going on in them, so if you want to read a donation, you probably can.
Awesome. I have a $150 donation from Handsome Rob that says,
Kill the animals.
No. Yes.
$245 from Pureput Limpkin, no comment.
Alright, my health is kind of low for this spot, so I'll have to be careful in the next stair room. Oh, it's even worse now. Also gonna try to save... Oh, that's actually a good drop, because my heart count is kind of low right now.
Yeah, if he actually needs to fight those knights too, he really wants Holy Water too, just because if he still had the cross, it would actually bounce off their shields and he wouldn't get multiple hits.
So normally I would deboost here too, but since I'm one-shottable now with only 3 health, I have to play that a little bit safe.
Yeah.
We're not out yet in
And
the woods
we
yet.
need to watch for the bird.
Oh, and he's being a very annoying enemy. Oh, okay. The double. All right. So thankfully, there's a health drop here right at Frankenstein.
Because there's a bit of RNG with Frankenstein as far as the falling ceiling blocks.
Yeah. I don't have as much holy water as I would like, but this fight is pretty easy, so there's not really any danger with the health.
All right, now we're out of the
Yeah.
woods. Great job, Chelney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stage.
Yeah, I had some extra damage, unfortunately, so that stair room is a little slow. But
Yeah, and that bird at the start of the screen
Yeah.
cost you a lot of hearts, too.
it just wouldn't get down. And that's the worst part about the birds, too, is they're the worst probably form of randomness in the game.
Yeah, especially for Trevor, too, just because the other characters have generally more effective ways of dealing with stuff that's above you.
So this is, in my opinion, the best song in the game. There's a lot of really good music, but this one, in my opinion, really stands out.
Now, unfortunately, since we don't have Scythe here, we will not be able to freeze this stream, which is, if
Yeah.
you're playing this casually, it's a super fun thing to do.
Yeah. Along with getting to freeze the birds. Yeah, I think this stage is quite a bit harder with Trevor than with Sypha.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of deboosting and utilizing the holy water to take stuff out. All right. I'm kind of a little skeptical of another drop coming. You do a lot of hits to these enemies because they have a lot of HP, and so you actually do see quite a few drops in this stage.
Yeah, fortunately, if you did either get a sub-weapon or die, there's a holy water in this screen, although it's a little out of the way.
That's probably one of the hardest rooms right there. I'm really happy to be
Nice.
out of it. And I've got lots of health, which is really good, so I can just take a couple hits here. Skipping a lot of terribly slow killing enemy.
So in this room right here, we're going to get a very traditional Castlevania enemy, the Fishman. When I was learning this game, I asked K-Mac, how do you do this room? He just told me be brave. That's all you can do here.
Yeah, they spawn out randomly, so you kind of just have to
You
do
do
it.
get a fair amount of warning. Too.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
I feel a lot
nice.
better now, actually. Dagger's gone. Thanks, game. Yeah, other than the birds, drops is the next actual run ender, typically. So
right,
this
then
is kind of a tough part here.
Yeah,
Good. Nice.
nice.
Hard part's over.
These dragons do have a fixed spawn pattern, so he knows exactly where they're going to be on each cycle. That was a good fight.
Trying to dump as many of my hearts as I can.
Nice pose, too. The sideways
Go long.
fist bump.
Yeah, that boss is tough. If you misplace your first step, you're dead. That knockback is so bad in that section.
Yeah, and just because he's so used to killing the first dragon on the first cycle, too, if it survives, he kind of needs to adjust to where it's going to be.
So yeah, we're into the castle now. Nice.
Ooh. Well,
I typically
if he's-
stand on an edge and then walk off in real
If
life
he's going to
too,
die,
so-
though, this is as good a spot as any, though. just
There is
because
a
there's
holy water right there,
right
thankfully,
you know.
yes.
So this screen has probably the biggest sequence break that you can actually do with solo Trevor. Coming up right here.
Yeah, we're trying. We'll see if we can get it here. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, that cuts out having to go all the way to the right and then climb stairs and go back up.
Yeah, aside from stage 9, this is probably some of the tightest platforming in the game. In this next section, there's actually going to be a mandatory 5-pixel jump. Even if you're playing this casually, you have to do that 5-pixel jump.
Oh,
That jump was my bane.
that was a really fortunate deboost, actually. I don't normally get hit there, so.
Fortunately, there is some meat in this screen, which
Yes.
I'm sure he's going to be getting.
I'm trying to save a couple hearts here, just because there's a lot of enemies, so I find it easier just to stun a couple of them, or stun all of them, as opposed to like hoping for a drop, basically.
This is the last stage where he takes 3 damage per hit, so he could have tanked one more hit there.
So yeah, that jump this guy was talking about is coming up right away. Ooh.
I wish I'd have known about the setup Chelney is going to use
Yeah.
for it as a kid, though, just because this jump.
Nice jump.
Nice.
That jump should never be taken for granted. Well done.
So I'm coming into this room with a short whip, which actually really sucks. This could be not fun. These guys, everything in this room pretty much has a reach when you have the short whip, which isn't helpful. Oh, great. Hey, buddy. If you could just stay right... Yeah, there you go. Thanks, pal.
A rare cooperative bird.
All right, so we got my long whip back. Death has now been fixed.
Yeah, this is a very unique auto-scroller going from top to bottom. You don't see something like this often.
He does want to get a couple hearts for the boss fight, too, because this is another one of those ghost plus casket combos, only this has a twist in that there's a third one.
And there's a nice little heart here. I did miss a big heart in that long room with the health, but that's all right. 15 I can make do with. Oh, hi. Hi. Okay, that's kind of sad, but that'll work.
Yeah, because ideally he wants more health than this, I guess, for the Cyclops, so that he can take 2 hits and then just kind of keep the Cyclops in the corner, and then if he's just kind of going all in, he should kill him after taking 2 hits.
It's kind of unfortunate. I can't get hit again now.
Now he has to play a lot safer.
Come back, come back. Yes, all right. That was kind of nice. He can be mean and walk all the way across the room, and it's like, well,
yeah,
thanks.
and then when he gets far enough away, he can charge at you, and then you won't have enough time to hit him before needing to get up there. So then the Leviathan Gargoyle is by far the highest health boss in the whole game, so he wants a lot of holy water left to get the quick kill on that.
All right.
You may have all heard this next song.
Yeah, it's been in a few Castlevania games.
Is it just me, or am I hearing deja vu?
But yeah, this stage is where all of the different possible routes through the game link together, and also where he starts taking 4 damage per hit.
Yeah,
so.
the 4 damage thing is a pretty big factor. Less in this stage necessarily, but in stage 9 it becomes, or block 9, it becomes very, very critical to manage your health correctly. Don't do it. Okay. There is a drop coming, so I have to be careful a little bit here. Oh, that's not the strat. It's all right. And that's kind of scary because these green slimes, you do kind of kill some of them pretty close. So I'm going to kind of do some safety jumps here to make sure, just in case. Okay, that's less good now. There is no health that I know of in this stage, so you have to be really aware.
Yeah, and unfortunately Trevor doesn't have any ways to skip parts of this stage, like going through the ceiling. So, yeah, he
All right, we're just going to have to play this a little safe now.
has to deal with every one of these knights and slimes.
There it is.
There's your drop.
Later, stopwatch. All right, we got lots of hearts, lots of health.
Yeah, and if he gets to death with the triple shot holy water, you shouldn't have too much trouble beating him without taking a hit.
Here we go.
That knight is a little harder to
That was
avoid
almost
than
too early.
than you'd think too, just because
So.
of the crumbling blocks creating a bunch of lag.
Yeah, there's a huge leg spike when he walks on screen, so it's a little stressful.
So fortunately, death has a predictable pattern where he always starts by swooping down. But wait, we're not done yet. And then death too also just kind of swoops around in a circle and then eventually wraps around the screen.
Nice.
So you can you can set up that quick kill with that block there.
All right, so now my speed run starts.
Yes.
The next stage is pretty much really where the game really just cranks up the difficulty. I know when I did my blind playthrough of this game, which was pretty recently, only back in March, and this stage took me about 3 hours to get through.
Yeah, and I do question if Konami really tested what the boss is like with Solo Trevor too, because it's pretty difficult if he doesn't have the holy water to get quick kill. But yeah, that room is not good, especially if you're due for a drop too.
That's why it was really good to get the stopwatch at the end of the last stage.
Yeah, so on this screen here, he's going to hesitate just a little bit in order to delay the spawn of a Spike Crusher coming up. Yeah, there he goes. And then he can just jump over it.
So if you thought the enemy spam was bad before, this is the worst room in the game, hands down.
Yeah, especially with Trevor.
Hey, we didn't jump early. Just gonna wait these guys out. Alright.
Nice.
Damage just through there is really helpful.
That was the real final boss of the game.
Well, we got the
No.
doppelganger still coming, though.
There's a much more terrible room still to come. So I'm gonna deboost through this guy. Hopefully he's nice.
Yeah, he was hoping he'd just keep going to the right. Yeah, we were talking earlier about the top-down auto-scroller being kind of special. I can't really think of any other NES games that have an auto-scroller mechanic like this, too. Doesn't have a diagonal, though. That's Mario 3.
Thankfully. Alright, this is going pretty good.
Yeah, so as long as he makes it to the doppelganger boss with his holy water, it's a pretty easy fight. If he had taken a death somewhere, he'd have had to use a much harder strat involving the cross. We do still have one pretty nasty room to get through before getting there, though.
That bat's been appearing from the right side all week, and I was just waiting for it to come from the door, so he kept his ways. That's good. Alright, so this is the worst room of the entire game.
Yeah, and I think literally every character other than Trevor has a way to skip most of it, but with Trevor he does have to go all the way to the left and then
This
climb
bird
up.
is... Alright, that's fine. I'm playing it a little bit more cautiously than normal, because the birds are the reason this room is terrible. Alright, one hit is not that bad, and we still have holy water, which is huge. I just have to get out of this room, basically, without losing it, and then we're pretty much home free. Alright. Nice.
Ooh.
There is no danger in grabbing that. It's okay. Everything is fine.
I'd say hi to Doppelganger
What's up, buddy?
and say bye. Say good
And now
riddance.
I can breathe.
Yeah, really good stage 9.
Yeah, that was good. There still is a drop coming, but it's less stressful to lose it now.
But what makes that fight just so hard if you can't just get the quick kill with the holy water is just that the doppelganger follows you and has pretty much all of your sub-weapons. And does 4 times as much damage to you as you do to it.
So I'm going to try to hang around the top of the screen here. Those gears create a ton of lag in this game, and the Medusa heads then, when they come on, make it worse. So to try to stay near the top, the Medusa heads then can despawn off the top of the screen.
Yeah, so he's both hanging out near the top and also jumping when to try to spawn the Medusas as high as possible.
All right.
So we were talking about version differences before. If you die from this point on, you end up back at this door, whereas in the J version, if you get up to Drac, you can at least respawn at Drac, not in the US version.
Yeah, that one thing I think is part of why this game has the notoriety it does for difficulty too. 'Cause they also added bats to the pendulum room coming up too.
That health grab was not worth it. Thought I would give myself an extra hit. And then I did give myself an extra hit. So I'm going to start trying to build up a double here for my axe so that I can kill the third phase of Dracula a lot faster. And the second phase, really. There is a strat for the first phase that uses axes also. But the difficulty for it, it's very, very hard to do the inputs. So we won't be seeing that. Almost there.
Ooh.
Almost home.
Are you going to respawn hearts or just roll with
Nah,
these?
we're good.
Yeah, if you
We've got
wanted to
lots.
farm some more hearts, you could just go back down the stairs and also get more hits towards getting a double shot.
We're good.
All right. So Dracula has 3 forms, like we mentioned. Kind of the idea with this first one is to try to manipulate the big flame so that he can avoid it. Then for Form 2, he wants to finish it with 16 hearts so that he can only use axes to fight Form 3. It's kind of easy to get boxed into a corner by this form, too. Very nice. With Trevor especially, these blocks can lead to you falling into the pits if you're not careful too. So he's just watching those. And also manipulating the targeting for his lasers with his jumps. And
So time will be when I grab
when he
the
grabs
orb here.
Yep.
Get rid of some of these axes, because why not? Time. Dad axe.
Great job,
Yeah, it was a
Joni.
great run.
What was the
Your time is 31:54.
We got a 31, nice. My PB is barely sub 30, so considering the little bit of hiccups I had in that run, that's not too bad.
We do get a unique ending too for Solo Trevor.
And you will
little
see,
brief seeing of this game's amazing translation.
you will see from the very short credits the name you donated for at the very near the very end of it, which is pretty nice. But yeah, this game is pretty challenging to pick up. I've really enjoyed playing it. It's pretty new for me. I play mostly Mega Man games, so it's been nice over the last couple of years to just start branching into some other genres. Castlevania, SMB3, Final Fantasy VIII. And so it's been really kind of fun to play some other games, especially ones like this one where I actually never played this game as a kid. And just the enjoyment I got out of it through my blind playthrough just made me want to play it again. And potentially learn some of the other routes with some of the other characters later, so.
So hard mode next time, right?
Yeah. Maybe. Hard mode is pretty tough. Some very, very unfair things happen.
Like taking 4 damage per hit for the whole game.
And you really grow to miss the Medusa heads. So yeah, Grant is kind of nice. He's got like a higher jump and such. And like Puxel said, can move, change directions mid-jump.
And
Alucard,
climb walls too.
yeah, Alucard can change into a bat and fly around. And then Sypha's got a bunch of different kinds of spells, so there's some pretty cool tech. Like every route with the different characters is pretty unique in its own little way, so. Here comes.
And our hero. Ralph, I mean Trevor.
Starring Ralph, or Treble, yeah, it's not Ralph this time. Final Pam. Thanks everybody for those donations. You're welcome, Castlevania 3. I'll see you again.